of competition. 16 different athletes have earned the title of World's Strongest Man. And now, one man has the opportunity to stand apart. A year ago, Poland's Marius Pujanowski won his record-tying 4th title. A 5th would make him the sport's greatest champion. But he'll have to overcome an unbelievable field of challengers. Someone will make history today. Will it be the superstar securing his legacy? Or will it be one of the 9 men attempting to stop him? The Metrics World's Strongest Man Final is next. We're in Charleston, West Virginia for the first of 7 events in the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final, the Power Stairs.
And Todd, it's an absolutely brutal start. The athletes will need to carry a 495-pound weight up a set of 14 steps. When the final whistle blows, you'll see guys with arms on fire, legs that are all blown up and useless, and hands that are chewed to shreds.
In Heat 1, USA's Jason Bergman making his first appearance in the final.
Todd, this Wisconsin farm boy might be the most surprising of the 10 finalists.
Derrick Powell, the police officer from Connecticut, is a rookie, but one of the favorites.
Derrick suffered a foot injury in the qualifiers, but seems back to 100%.
Tarmo Mint of Estonia making his 4th consecutive appearance in the final.
He's Mr. Consistency. Tarmo's just solid across the board.
Dave Oslon of Minnesota, another perennial finalist.
Not only does Dave get stronger each year, he gets smarter. He's a strongman savant.
And that takes us to Norway's Errol Haugen at 22, the youngest of the finalists.
Errol's got a world of potential. If he stays focused, he could be a guy who wins multiple titles.
So we're set for Heat 1 of the Power Stairs.
I think just getting to the top of the stairs would be a big deal. I wouldn't be surprised if you see guys scattered all over the course when 75 seconds are up. It's going to be that tough.
That is Tarmo Mint, currently in 2nd place. Dave Oslon is using a 2-pronged attack. Look at this, he gets it on the stair, moves it forward, and then pops it up.
Pops it up and then pushes off of it and launches his body up to the next stair. That's super efficiency. I tell you, this guy's always thinking.
Dave Oslon in the lead, Tarmo Mint to his right. Then it's Poundstone in the red in lane 2, and Jason Bergman really struggling in lane number 1.
500 pounds in your hands. Mitt's got his hands taped.
And now it's Derrick Poundstone in lane number 2 in the red shirt starting to make a move.
He's protecting his hands with gloves.
No gloves, but in the lead is Dave Oslon. Here comes Derrick Poundstone. This is the last one. And Poundstone gets it done. Derrick Poundstone comes from behind to win Heat number 1.
And Oslon's just frozen. He's not moving. He's got 15 seconds left. He's got to get that thing over the line.
The last 5 seconds to go. It's got to cross the line, and Dave Oslon does just that. 111.81 for Oslon, and the rest of the competitors' time runs out.
You can only imagine what these guys are feeling like. Poundstone's got to be feeling great right now.
That is the mark to beat, Kaz, 54.33 seconds. Dave Oslon had the early lead. He ends up at 111.81.
Todd, I don't know what happened, but Dave Oslon looked so strong going to the final steps. Then he just flatlined. And Poundstone's surge came from nowhere. Wow, that was impressive.
Now for Heat number 2, Terry Hollins of England finished 3rd last year.
Todd, Terry was disappointed in the qualifiers. He'll have to turn it around here.
Now to the hometown favorite, Phil Pfister, the champion from 2006.
Phil really wants to put on a show for his fans. We'll see if he has one more run left in it.
Marius Pujanowski, the 4-time champion from Poland.
You'd think success would spoil a guy, but Marius is just as driven as ever. He's an animal.
Travis Ortmeyer of Texas, a rookie, but he dominated his qualifying group.
Travis won't back down from anyone. He has as good a chance as anyone in taking down Pujanowski.
And the final man in this heat is Sebastian Venta of Poland, the runner-up last year in Anaheim.
Sebastian hasn't shown me the same form as last year, but if he brings it up a notch, he's a threat.
Remember, the time to beat is 54.33 seconds, put up by American Derrick Poundstone, and that's 495 pounds in hand. Phil Pfister with an early lead.
And such a struggle for Terry Hollins.
Here comes Marius Pujanowski in the yellow, Travis Ortmeyer in the green.
Phil's really getting a lead. This looks great. Where is Marius coming from?
Pujanowski just carrying over to each step, and now it is Marius Pujanowski, the 4-time winner, out in front.
He's going absolutely crazy. He's got a 1.5-step lead over Phil.
That's 495 pounds. He is trying to get up the steps. Remember the mark to beat, 54.33. And Marius Pujanowski will stop the clock at 40.94.
That had to be demoralizing for Phil to see a yellow blur go by and not be able to respond.
Phil Pfister's still on course, but he is just running out of gas. Remember, folks, that's 495 pounds. They're trying to get the stairs. Terry Hollins in the background, he is absolutely done, and time has run out. So for Phil Pfister, he gets credited with 13 steps. That'll put him in a tie for 4th place.
How about a hand for our final
But Marius Pujanowski absolutely dominates the power stairs. All 14 in 40.94 seconds.
If I were one of the other 9 guys in the final, I'd be very afraid. He looks incredible.
So Pujanowski wins the power stairs in a time of 40.94 seconds. Derrick Poundstone takes 2nd. 3rd goes to Dave Oslon. Phil Pfister and Tom Omit tied for 4th. Then it's Venta, Haugen, and Ortmeyer sharing 6th. Bergman 9th, and Hollins in 10th. And we move on to our next event. Car walk is the 2nd of 7 unique tests of strength, with 9 athletes still to go. Your current leader is the man from Estonia, Tarmo Mick, 15.7 meters. Next up in the car walk, it will be Errol Haugen of Norway. Now he's tied for 6th place after just 1 event. And Kaz, tell us about the task at hand.
This will be anything but a leisurely walk along the river in Charleston. It'll be a power sprint over the 25-meter course with 904 pounds strapped to their shoulders. This is an event where balance and athletic ability are as important as strength.
And Errol's getting the crowd all fired up. He's a young man, Kaz, only 22 years of age, but he comes from a country, Norway, has a long list of great strongmen.
Todd, he said that he's not afraid of the current strongman, and he's ready to take him on and show him what he's made of, that he belongs in the final.
Oh, that shows you just how awkward that weight is on his shoulders. Remember, the course is 25 meters long, and that's over 900 pounds that he's carrying.
Balance is really crucial here. You got to get those straps set on your shoulders just right. No matter how soft you might think they are, with 900 pounds cutting into your shoulders, this really hurts.
Is there any way to get comfortable in that kind of apparatus?
It doesn't seem that way. And for Errol, he never got comfortable. Every step looked like it was agonizing.
He's had enough at just over 15 meters, 15 and a half meters to be exact for Errol Haugen of Norway.
The young Norwegian seemed like he really concentrated, but just could never get the thing going straight and feel comfortable inside of this 900-pound car.
Representing England.
Well, this is Terry Hollins from England. Now, he really had a disappointing first event, so he's going to have to make up some time here. And Kaz, with his size and height, he should be able to cruise through this course.
He should, Todd, at almost 400 pounds. He's massive. So the car for him is just over double his body weight. He's having a hard time at the start getting it balanced. But now it's not taking him long at all to motor down the course.
Well, they lost quite a few seconds there. Remember, this is over 900 pounds. He's awfully close to the finish line here. This would be a good time for him.
I like his intensity, Todd. This man's awesome.
Terry Hollins checks in with a time of 30.38 seconds. That puts him into 2nd.
Terry Hollins, a great athlete in a strong man's body. Taking the car over the course in a respectable time. He's a remarkable strongman.
Next up in the car walk, this is American Jason Bergman. Did not have the best first event where he placed 9th. So right now, he is going to have to make a serious move. The power stairs really set him back, Kaz.
They did, Todd. You know, it took a lot out of his body. He put his all into it, but you just never know what you're giving when you're lifting 500 pounds up those stairs. And now with 900 on your back, he looks super concentrated.
Nice focus, good balance. The shortest finalist in the group, the man from Wisconsin, is absolutely powering through this 25-meter course.
Great that he hasn't set it down. That's awesome. .23 seconds
for American Jason Bergman. He is your current leader in the car walk.
Jason Bergman weighing 275 pounds carrying triple his body weight on his shoulders. Not giving up, posting the fastest time and taking the car over the line.
From Poland, last year's World
This is Sebastian Venta. He was a runner-up last year and finishing second only to countryman and champion Marius Pujanowski. So he certainly is someone to contend with this year, but very tall, Kaz. Balance could be a serious issue with 900 pounds on his shoulder.
You're right, Todd. And he's 6'6" plus. This balance will be a problem. He's almost lanky, being as tall as he is. Sebastian's really moving now, though.
Yeah, speed is the key for the big man from Poland. 18.46 seconds. You think he's happy? Sebastian Venta, the new leader in the car walk.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm impressed, Todd. That was incredible.
Not what we thought we'd get from Sebastian Venta, a tremendous performance.
Venta overcoming his height, motoring down the course with a truly remarkable time.
From Minnesota, right here in the United States.
Dave Oslon of Minnesota looks very good, finishing third in the power stairs. He's up next in the car walk.
Are you ready? Ready?
Strength will certainly be a key, Kaz, because that car weighs 904 pounds. And look at Dave Oslon, the big man from Minnesota. He has got this thing in overdrive.
Nice stride coming through, super concentration. Plenty of overall body power.
And he puts up the new time to beat. Dave Oslon, 14.23 amazing seconds.
You can see the fire in his eyes, Todd. You gotta love it. Wow, 14 seconds is just crazy. Dave somehow lifted the car and got into high gear all at the same time. He didn't have a misstep the whole way.
Here's another American, Derrick Powell of Connecticut. He was second in the power stairs.
Derrick's definitely got the power needed to lift and move the car, but we'll have to see if he can match the foot speed that Dave just showed.
Dave Oslon has the mark to beat, 14.23 seconds. This is Derrick Poundstone.
That was a nice pick. He got his feet moving, a nice stride, very quickly.
Great balance. He is powering down this course. It's going to be very close. Second place for Derrick Poundstone. 15.12 seconds puts him currently just behind Dave Oslon. So the Americans are 1 and 2.
Look at the footwork, Todd. Derrick was rock steady. Maybe he came up short of the time to beat, but technically, he was just about as good as it gets.
And that brings us to the four-time World's Strongest Man champion, Marius Pujanowski of Poland. He'll be chasing the time of 14.23 seconds put up by Dave Oslon of the USA.
It's very seldom you see Marius beaten at events like this.
Marius really struggling with the balance there. That is going to cost him some time, Kaz. Remember, the time to beat, 14.23 seconds, put up by Dave Oslon. Marius is not going to get that time, but it will be a strong performance. As he comes to the finish line, he'll stop the clock at 16.70.
Ah, that's a shocker, Todd. That start really hurt him.
Not happy with that performance, currently in third place.
Todd, that's so out of character for Marius. He just couldn't get the car balanced on his shoulders, and when he did, first place was just out of reach.
Now to the 2006 champion Phil Pfister, tied for fourth in the first event.
Phil's been hot and cold in the car walk in the past. He's had some good performances, like in Zambia, China when he won his title, and some poor ones like in the qualifiers in that same event. We'll just have to see if he gets comfortable with the weight on his shoulders and puts up a good time.
Phil Pfister has the focus that we've seen before, and look at this, Kaz. The balance is there, and Pfister has the look of determination. The time to beat, 14.23 seconds. This is going to be very close.
Huge strides. He's blistering the course.
He's done it. 13.12 seconds for Charleston's Phil Pfister. And after a performance like that, you think the current leader could get some valet service. Marius Pujanowski's watch is going to show the same thing as the official one. Phil Pfister is the leader in the car walk. An unbelievable performance for the man from Charleston. So the final competitor in the car walk is Travis Ortmeyer. The Texan had to settle with a sixth-place tie in our first event, the Power Stairs.
Knowing Travis, I'm sure he's still burning up after the Power Stairs. His intensity is normally off the charts, but I'm sure after that disappointment, he's ratcheted it up for this event.
Simple task at hand. He's got to beat the time put up by Phil Pfister of 13.12 seconds. That's 904 pounds he's carrying.
Nice pickup, but his feet aren't moving fast enough. He's really got to get moving if he's going to catch the best time.
Travis Ortmeyer stops the clock. A very good time for him. Ortmeyer checks in at 16.37 seconds. That will give him 4th place. The car walk goes into the win column for Phil Pfister. His time of 13:12 was over a second faster than that of Dave Oslon, who finished 2nd. Poundstone finished 3rd. Ortmeyer was 4th. Pujanowski was 5th. Venta, Bergman, Hollins, Mitt, and Haugen were 6th through 10th. Phil Pfister continues to celebrate with the fans here in Charleston. Is a 2nd title possible? It's starting to look like it might be. There's a tie at the top with Derrick Poundstone and Dave Oslon leading the way with 17 points apiece. Phil Pfister's in 3rd. Marius Pujanowski in 4th. Travis Ortmeyer 5th. Then it's Sebastian Venta, Tarmo Mitt, Jason Bergman, Errol Haugen, and Terry Hollins. The leaderboard has a distinctly American feel. Can one of the U.S. strength athletes take down Marius Pujanowski? Find out as the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final continues. Welcome back to Canal Boulevard in Charleston, West Virginia for the 3rd of 7 events in the Metrics World's Strongest Man Final, the Fingal Fingers.
The Fingal Fingers will test overall body strength. The legs, back, and arms will be required to lift the 5 fingers off the ground, push them into a vertical position, and finally send them back down to earth.
Sebastian Venta of Poland is in 6th place after 2 events.
At 6'7" and 342, Sebastian can be dominant in the fingers.
Sebastian will be going head-to-head with Travis Ortmeyer of Texas, who is in 5th overall.
Todd, Travis has never seen the fingers before in competition, so it'll be learning on the job for him.
Well, 4 athletes have already had their shot at the Fingal Fingers, and Jason Bergman of the USA put up the time to beat Terry Hollins in 2nd, so 50.57 seconds is what they're shooting for. He has that first finger, 440 pounds.
Nice pick by both our athletes.
Now, these guys are both relatively tall. They make quick work of that 2nd finger, which was 495. This one, 550.
Nice tight race. This is awesome.
On to the 4th one, 605 pounds. Sebastian Venta with a slight lead.
With the battle of the raindrops. These fingers are just a little bit moist. It could slip out of their hands.
And the last one, 705 pounds. And Sebastian Venta gets it done in a time of 37.02 seconds. And Travis Ortmeyer is just ecstatic that he completed the whole rack in a time of 44.96 seconds.
And Travis Ortmeyer between the range rocks.
So there is your current leader in the Fingal Fingers. Ortmeyer currently in 2nd.
Even for a big man like Sebastian Venta, the 705-pound finger is pretty imposing, but he eventually powered it over. On the other hand, Travis Ortmeyer was just happy to get through the 5 fingers for his first time.
Attention, please, in the gold.
And that takes us to our next heat. Surprisingly, Marius Pujanowski isn't at the top of the leaderboard. After 2 events, he's in 4th place, although that's just 1 point out of 1st. And Charleston native Phil Pfister has thrilled his hometown crowd. He's in 3rd place overall. One very interested spectator is Charleston Mayor Danny Jones.
It's the 4-time champion versus the 2006 winner. What more could you want?
The first one goes over, that's 440 pounds. Quickly onto the 2nd finger, 495. Now onto the 3rd, that's 550.
Pfister just powers right through these fingers. Marius is leading, though.
Phil has the advantage in height, but Maurice may be the most powerful man on the planet right now, and this is the final one, 705 pounds.
This is where Phil's height really could pay off.
Phil has the leverage, pushes it over, and stops the clock at 36:01. So Phil Pfister, much to the delight of the hometown crowd, is your new leader. Marius stops the clock just after 41.38. So Marius currently in 3rd place in the Fingal Fingers. Very difficult for him, and Phil Pfister, your new leader.
What an effort from both of them.
Pfister was actually trailing as they reached the 5th finger, but Phil's size and weight really came to his aid as he pushed it over.
In the red, in lane
Now to the
1,
final heat and the co-leaders, Derrick Poundstone. He hasn't acted like a rookie to this point. He has handled every situation perfectly. This is Dave Oslon's 3rd trip to the final, and you can tell that he believes he can win the title. I'm not sure that was the case before.
Well, Austin's an expert with a finger, and Poundstone did very well in the qualifier. He'll bulldoze right through these things.
Look at the speed that both men handle that first finger, 440 pounds. They're onto the 495 variety, and they just throw that one over as well.
I like the way Oslon takes it from the ground to arm's length in almost one move.
Poundstone looks very good for a rookie there, almost dead even. The time to beat 36:01 put up by Phil Pfister of Charleston, West Virginia.
Todd Oslon walks down these fingers with his arms better than anybody we've ever seen.
705 pounds, and Dave Oslon's got it going. And he slams it down. Your winner in the Fingal fingers, Dave Oslon. Derrick Poundstone with a tremendous performance as well, but it is that man from Minnesota who gets the victory. All 5 fingers in 34.91 seconds. For Poundstone, all 5 in 37.18, he'll get 4th.
Todd, just as we saw in the previous heat, when 2 men get to the final finger at the same time, the advantage goes to the bigger man.
So put one in the win column for Dave Oslon. 8 other men top of all 5 fingers, but Oslon did it in the fastest time. Pfister was 2nd, Venta was 3rd, 4th went to Poundstone. Pujanowski was 5th, Ortmeyer, Bergman, Hollins, Haugen, and Mitt were 6th through 10th. Oslon is the leader through 3 of 7 events. Pfister moves into 2nd place. Poundstone drops to 3rd. 4th place still belongs to Marius Pujanowski. Venta is 5th, and surprisingly, Travis Ortmeyer is in 6th place. Fortunately, there's 4 more events to come. And we move on to Coonskin Park for the deadlift, the 4th of 7 events facing the best strength athletes in the world. 6 of the 10 athletes have already had their chance, and the current leader is the USA's Jason Bergman with 6 reps of the 750-pound vehicle. Errol Haugen of Norway is in 2nd, but the big story is that Phil Pfister could only manage 2 reps. His title chances were just dealt a big blow. Up next in the deadlift is Travis Ortmeyer. Travis is in 6th place overall.
Todd, this event should really be a good one for Travis. He's got a super strong back and real explosive power.
Remember the mark to beat, 6 repetitions put up by Jason Bergman of the USA.
Looks really solid. He's got a little leg drive involved here.
He's halfway there to tying Jason Bergman. Remember, that's 750 pounds in hand. What do you think, Kaz? Think he's got 2 more in him?
He could. He's so well disciplined. I'm sure he put his least amount of energy in the early reps as possible so that he can make these.
This would give him the lead. And he gets it. Travis Ortmeyer gets just enough to go into the lead, so he is the new leader in the deadlift.
He's really going to have to fight if he wants to get this one.
And that will do it. 7 repetitions for your current leader, Travis Ortmeyer of the USA.
Todd, when the weight gets this heavy, sometimes form goes right out the window, and it becomes all about grit, which Travis has plenty of.
Travis Ortmeyer 7 still leads.
Dave Oslon is in his 3rd World's Strongest Man final, and the man from Minnesota isn't satisfied with just being a contender. He has his eyes on the big prize.
He does, Todd. Now that Dave's increased his power, he's got everything a champion would need here. Nobody's going to outthink him. If there's a new trick or training method, we can be sure Dave's using it.
Ready? Ready?
So Dave Oslon begins his journey. Remember, 750 pounds in hand, and the mark to beat is 7 repetitions put up by fellow countryman Travis Ortmeyer.
God, it's really tough when you're 6'7", but Dave's doing a remarkably good job here.
He's up to 5 reps. Kaz, does he have 3 more in him?
He doesn't have the massive leg power, but his back is good, his core is stronger. That was a pretty strong 6th one.
This is for the tie. And he gets it.
Todd, Dave's going to have to forget about what he just did and believe that he can get down deep, low, and drive with his legs and lift this bar all the way to the lockout. He's the kind of guy that can pull this off.
750 pounds 8 times proves to be too much for Dave Oslon, but he is our co-leader with 7 repetitions alongside Travis Ortmeyer of the USA.
You got to appreciate the effort of Dave Oslon. He knew that every rep was critical, And one rep can mean everything when the standings are so close.
Well, if Dave can remain in the lead, he could be looking at a nice payday with a top prize of $42,500. But if you ask any of the 10 guys out here, I'm sure they'd say the title of World's Strongest Man means more than the money. Marius Pujanowski is in 4th place after 3 events, and Kaz, it truly is go time for the champion.
You're right, Todd, and we're at the right place for it to happen. Marius is rarely beaten in the deadlift.
So Marius Pujanowski has begun his journey, 750 pounds in hand. The mark to beat, put up by 2 men, Travis Ortmeyer and Dave Oslon of the USA.
Easy pulls, but he seems to be over-pulling the bar and really leaning back.
This will be the 6th rep if he locks it out, and he does, so 1 more for the tie.
It seems like his low back's not working, and that's the only way he can lock out the bar.
And he gets it. Your new leader, Marius Pujanowski, with just 1 more athlete to go. Well, he's going to make it hard on the next man.
He's got to take a break and gather himself. This champion knows how to bring out his best.
Well, he's going to need every rep because Derrick Poundstone is next, and he is no slouch as well. And Marius gets into double digits, 10 repetitions for the champion. What a tremendous performance.
If you're a personal trainer, you're not going to advise your client to get into this kind of position just to lock out a deadlift. But Marius is ready to do anything to retain his title.
The final competitor in the deadlift is the police officer from Connecticut. This is Derrick Poundstone. Now, Derrick comes into this event in 3rd place in the overall standings.
Todd, if anybody's going to beat Marius Pujanowski, it's this guy. When the events get heavy like this one, Derrick's at his best.
So our final competitor in the deadlift is American Derrick Poundstone. The mark to beat put up moments ago by Marius Pujanowski at 10. Remember, Kaz, that's 750 pounds in scorching heat. How do you think he's doing so far?
I like his form. He's actually lifting with his legs and his back at the same time. It's a beautiful deadlift.
And he makes quick work of the first 7 repetitions of that 750-pound weight. He needs 3 more to tie Marius or 4 to take the win.
And when you go last, you get to see the way the other guys do it. He's starting to do the Marius slide.
Well, that slide's good enough for a 9th repetition, so 1 more will give him the tie.
He's a powerhouse. He's got it in him.
Oh, Kaz, is that real safe?
This is pretty dangerous. He's got that bar, the 700-plus pounds, balanced right in his thighs, and he pulls it up.
He's done it. Derrick Poundstone has pulled even with Marius Pujanowski. 1 more would give him the win. But he's got nothing left, so he will take the tie with Marius Pujanowski. A tremendous performance by Derrick Poundstone. Well, it seemed odd for the police officer from Connecticut to take a little break with 750 pounds resting on his legs, but you can't argue with the effectiveness. So with 10 reps apiece, Derrick Poundstone and Marius Pujanowski shared the win in the deadlift. Travis Ortmeyer and Dave Oslon each had 7 reps and tied for 3rd. A solid result for Jason Bergman, who finished 5th. Haugen was 6th. In 7th, it was Tarmo Mitt. And then it was Pfister, Venta, Hollins, tied for 8th. After 4 events, Dave Oslon continues to lead, but the gap has been narrowed. Derrick Poundstone is now just 1 point back in 2nd. Marius Pujanowski is now in 3rd. And with an 8th place finish in the deadlift, Phil Pfister has fallen back. The 5th of 7 events for these strongmen was the overhead lift. Dave Oslon came into the overhead lift as the overall leader, but he labored with a 309-pound log, managing only 4 reps. Phil Pfister didn't fare much better. He was only able to press the log overhead a total of 6 times. In the qualifiers, American Travis Ortmeyer was awesome in the pressing event, but he only got 7 here. Marius Pujanowski, the 4-time champion, put up 10 huge reps, but that wasn't enough to get the win. And that's because American Derrick Poundstone, who entered the overhead lift in 2nd place, was able to produce 11 repetitions. So Poundstone was victorious in the overhead lift. 2nd place went to Pujanowski. Venta was 3rd. Bergman, Mitt, and Ortmeyer tied for 4th. 7th place probably doomed Phil Pfister's title chances, and Dave Oslon took a major hit as he finished 9th. We have a new overall leader as Poundstone takes over the lead with 43.5 points. Pujanowski is 2nd with 40.5 points. Oslon drops to 3rd, 7 off the lead. Pfister is still 4th, but is losing sight of the leaders. Venta, Bergman, and Mitt have started to rally, but it's probably too little, too late.
Todd, this Hercules C-130, belonging to the West Virginia Air National Guard, couldn't be more appropriately named, because this plane pull may require the strength of a mythic god. Pulling 88,000 pounds over 25 meters is going to require a massive commitment by the athletes. With every step, the legs will take a beating. The arms will suffer with every yank on the rope, and the lungs will burn with every breath. We've seen some enormous feats of strength over 31 years of competition, but we're about to enter a whole new stratosphere.
We move on to the penultimate event in the Metrics World's Strongest Man final at the 130th Airlift Wing in Charleston, West Virginia for the plane pull.
I'm not sure there's ever been a bigger event than this one. The athletes will need to pull an 88,000-pound Hercules C-130 belonging to the West Virginia Air National Guard over a 25-meter course.
From England, Terry Holland.
And the first man up is Terry Hollins in 10th place after 5 events. The final has not gone the way Terry thought it would.
No, but if anybody's going to get this plane moving, it's Terry Hollins. He's huge. Look at the size of that plane. Look at the size of his quads. He's got those feet moving and his arms pulling. This is a great pull.
This is unbelievable, Kaz. That's 44 tons that Terry Hollins of England is pulling.
He's taking big steps and armfuls of that rope.
Remember, it's 25 meters, and Terry Hollins is going to put up the mark to beat, and I guarantee the other 9 men are watching this in disbelief.
Looks like it's getting a little bit harder. He's dropped his body. He's pulling even harder at the end of the course than he did in the beginning.
The wheel has to stop the clock, and it does at 38.69. So the big man from England puts up a tremendous mark to beat. And fortunes may be turning for Terry Hollins, but it might be too late.
Once you get good momentum, you've got to keep your legs pumping and your arms pulling to get it over the finish line. And that's just what Terry did.
And that takes us to Errol Haugen of Norway, the
Your
young man. He's
attention,
22
please.
years
In
of
blue
age,
from Norway,
and currently in the competition, he's in 9th place after 5 events. Now, Kaz, we saw him in the qualifiers do very well in the truck pull. How do you think he fares now that he's strapped to 44 tons?
Depending on what that truck pull took out of him, this is a really big airplane, but he's a very strong man. And such a young man, but so committed to the sport of strength.
Errol Haugen on the course. Remember, it's 25 meters. There's the time to beat, 38.69, put up by Terry Hollins. This is amazing, Kaz. I mean, that's 88,000 pounds.
That it's even rolling, and one man is pulling it. And he's pulling it hard and fast.
Looks like Errol is hitting a bit of a wall here, Kaz.
When you look at the course, it's a tough one, and it's long. It can take a lot out of your legs and zap them in just a few strides. That's maybe what's happened to Errol.
He has used up so much energy in his arms and his lower back. The legs now are trying to do all the work, and he's still almost 5 meters from the finish line.
When you slow down like this, it's almost impossible to get it going again or keep it going. You've got to maintain momentum.
Errol Haugen now down to the final 10 seconds. It will not be a new time to beat, Kaz, but it'll mean a lot if he can finish the course, and he just doesn't have anything left. You know when the body has nothing left, don't you?
I've been there before. The pain is excruciating. Your breath is gone. You just want to go lay down.
Well, currently in last place, he gets credited for distance just over 21 meters, and there's where the problems really started.
Errol pulled as hard as he could throughout the course, but when it slowed down at the end, he didn't have enough left to cross the finish line.
Please welcome from
This
the
is
nation
Tarmo
of
Mitt from Estonia, currently in
Tarmo
8th
Mitt.
place after 5 events. And Kaz, I think a lot of people expected more from the big Estonian giant. This is an opportunity for him to move up in the rankings.
Right. When he came into this competition, he has so much experience and so much strength. a lot of raw power. And you can see it here. He's demonstrating it, getting this big plane moving.
Big plane, that's 44 tons that Tarmo Mitt is pulling down the tarmac. And Tarmo needs to keep the momentum going. We've seen other athletes get it going early, Kaz, and they can't keep the momentum going, and they're almost dead in the water.
That's right, Todd. He's got his arms pumping, hand over hand, pulling hard on the rope, and driving with his legs. Now is the point of the course where he really has to dig down, drop his body, and pull from a lower position. If he does that, he'll be successful.
Time to beat 38.69, put up by England's Terry Hollins. Won't beat that, but this will be a good time. Just over 40 seconds, 40.19 officially for the big Estonian, Tarmo Mitt, and that's a strong performance for him. So Tarmo goes currently into second place in the plane poll, and he'll need those points.
Tarmo Mitt got a really good start, but it seemed through the middle of the course, he actually accelerated, dove down deep, and made it happen.
From Wisconsin, USA.
Well, in seventh place after 5 events, this is American Jason Bergman. Now, Kaz, he was just happy to get into the final, but now that he's in there, I think Jason Bergman's expecting more.
He is, and he brought a lot of fans from Wisconsin all the way here to West Virginia, so for sure he wants to do well in front of them. And this is an amazing start for him, because as far as body mass, he really doesn't have it.
Bergman off to a quick start here. Remember, the time to beat 38.69 put up by England's Terry Hollins.
I'm amazed sometimes, Todd. A smaller man with a big heart can get the job done, especially when he's pushed.
Well, he is just attacking that rope, isn't he?
He is. He's got something to prove here. That he made the final, and he's supposed to be here, and he wants to score points in every event.
Bergman now having a problem with that body mass that you talked about. One of the lighter finals we've got here. He's down to 5 meters to go. He won't put up a time to beat, but remember, every point is so very valuable. And Bergman, he'll stop the clock with an impressive time of 51.04 seconds. So the man from Wisconsin completes the course where many other larger men were not able to do so. He's currently in 3rd place.
Jason Bergman stays low and shows tremendous heart. You see how hard he pulls with his arms and drives with his legs? This man wants to pull this huge plane over the finish line.
From Poland, Sebastian Venta.
This is Sebastian Venta in 6th place after 5 events. Remember, he was on the podium in the top 3 last year. The eventual runner-up to champion Marius Pujanowski, the fellow countryman. Kaz, his body type and height, he is suited for this event.
He's a heavy man, very tall, nice leverage. It just comes down to how bad he wants to do this. If he really wants to dig down and feel that pain, he can move this big plane over the line in a fast time, but he's got to make the commitment from inside.
The thousands of fans that have turned out to watch this event are just as amazed as you are at home. Remember, the time to beat 38.69 seconds. This is Poland's Sebastian Venta.
Everything's so good so far, but I watch the face and the eyes. I don't see him huffing and puffing and really digging down. He's kind of high and satisfied to just keep it crawling along.
Well, he will not beat Terry Holland, so that mark is still safe, but he will come across the finish line in a very respectable time, going under 50 seconds. 49.04 seconds for the big pole.
2nd place overall last year. That was a respectable performance in the plane pole.
Very heavy.
And Sebastian Venta doing a little damage on his hands, but he celebrates nonetheless, currently in 3rd place.
Representing the United States of America.
Well, this is a rookie, and this is not an event a rookie can really train for anyway, Kaz.
There's not much chance of a civilian getting on an airfield and practicing with an airplane. And you know what? There's no steering wheel. Those front wheels can go wherever they want. And if this thing pulls off even a centimeter to the right or the left, it gets harder as you pull it. So he's got to keep his body down low, pulling hard, and in a straight line. If he veers to one side, that plane's coming with it.
This is exactly what he's doing right now. Travis Ortmeyer trying to find the straightest line to the finish line, and it's just not happening right now. He's all over the place, Kaz.
He's got to tug on that rope and just pound with those legs. They start to burn right away, Todd. He's going to be in no man's land if he finishes this race.
Well, he has run completely out of momentum now. And it is extremely hot here today on this tarmac.
That affects the athletes and the tire pressure, Todd. If those tires heat up, they get softer and it's much harder to pull.
And he's fortunate he had some momentum left. He checks in at 50 seconds even as he goes down. Currently in 4th place. I think Travis Ortmeyer was probably looking for more in this event, seeing as how he did so well in the qualifiers.
Right. Travis Ortmeyer from Texas, cutting his teeth on an 88,000-pound plane over a 25-meter course.
Next up is Phil Pfister, the hometown favorite from Charleston. Now Phil arrives at the plane pole 12 points behind the current leader, Derrick Powell.
There's thousands of fans out here, and Phil won't want to let them down. Unfortunately for them, these big poles are tailor-made for Phil.
Well, the mark to beat, 38.69 seconds. That's 88,000 pounds, 44 tons that Phil Pfister has got moving. And Kaz, he's got it moving.
Great leg drive, Todd. Really pulling hard with the arms.
How about the speed with the rope?
He's doing very well. It's the speed of the plane that he's worried about. He's got to gain momentum because this course gets harder towards the end.
A just very slight incline at the end, and that's what Pfister is facing right now, but he's got 44 tons going towards the finish line. And he's got it. Much to the delight of the hometown crowd, Phil Pfister is your new leader at 37.66. And Phil Pfister could certainly use the points that come with a first-place win. That brings us to Dave Oslon of Minnesota. Dave was the overall leader until the overhead lift and is now in 3rd place, 7 points back.
Todd, I'm sure Dave's down after his difficulty in the overhead lift, but he's got to find a way to regroup here if he has any hope of catching Poundstone and Pujanowski.
Well, he's got about 25 meters to cover this course. That's 88,000 pounds, or 44 tons, if you will. It's still just a massive object.
Nice leg speed. That rope's kind of slapping. I don't know how hard he's pulling on it.
37.66 put up by fellow countryman Phil Pfister, but right now it's all about Dave Oslon trying to get points. And here's where that bit of incline comes in. He cannot let this thing stop, Kaz.
He's slowing down. His legs are slower. He's got to dig down, dive towards the surface, and pull harder on the rope. Just keep it moving.
No one's ever questioned Dave Oslon's commitment. He has now gone over 40 seconds. That front tire's got to cross the line before the clock stops. And he stops the clock at 49.09 seconds. Not the time he was looking for. That puts him currently into 5th place.
Todd, that's what a guy looks like who's given everything he's got, pouring his guts out in this plane pull. You can see Dave had real trouble getting the plane up to speed. But the real difficulty came in the last 8 to 10 meters when the plane's momentum came to a crawl.
Holland's Marius Pujanowski has won 4 titles since 2002, but it looks like title number 5 won't come so easily. Marius is in 2nd place, 3 points behind American Derrick Poundstone.
We're tied at 6'1" and 309 pounds. Marius doesn't have the ideal body mass for these big pulls, but he compensates by outworking the other guys.
Look at the massive arms on Marius Pujanowski. This is 44 tons. He's got to cover the 25-meter course. There you see the time to beat put up by Phil Pfister at 37.66.
Todd, this is easily the fastest we've seen this plane move. Look at his hand speed. He's driving so hard with his legs, and the grimace on his face tells you he's working as hard as he possibly can.
A slight stumble there, but Marius is just gritting his way through this course.
And grunting all the way through, too.
And he has done it. By the narrowest of margins, Marius Pujanowski has edged Phil Pfister. 36.67 seconds for the current leader, Marius Pujanowski.
Going for 5 championship titles.
You want to know what intensity sounds like? Listen to Marius Pujanowski. With all these huge guys out here, Marius has no business being the leader in the plane pull. It's his desire that separates him from everyone else.
In the red, representing the United States of America, Derrick Powell.
The final athlete in the plane pole is the overall leader, Derrick Poundstone of Connecticut. Kaz, at what point does Derrick realize he's in great position to win the title and have the nerve set in?
Todd, Derrick's a police officer. If he can handle that job, he'll be able to block out everything and just focus on this serious task.
Serious to the tune of 44 times. He has to go 25 meters, and he needs to do it faster than Marius Pujanowski's 36.67 seconds.
Todd, look at those guns. He's tugging so hard. Look at his leg drive. This is a nice pull.
That's 88,000 pounds that Derrick Poundstone's got moving.
You see him dropping his body position. He's putting as much drive into it as he can, but he's losing his balance a little bit. Strong legs right here.
He will not get the victory. 38.67 seconds as everyone looks on and looks at their clocks, and Marius knows he's got the victory in the plane pole. Third place to Derrick Poundstone.
Time,
and this sets up a very interesting last event. Marius Pujanowski needed a victory, and he got it here in the plane pole. Pfister is in second. Finishing third means Derrick Poundstone dropped 2 points to Marius. Terry Hollins picked up fourth. Dave Oslon had to settle for seventh, and Travis Ortmeyer was a disappointing eighth. Derrick Poundstone will take a lead to the final event. He's got a 1-point advantage over Marius Pujanowski. One of those two men will be the 2008 Metrics World's Strongest Man champion. Oslon and Pfister will battle it out for third, but it's all about pride for the rest of the guys. We're at Power Park in Charleston, West Virginia for our signature event, the Atlas Stones, a perfect way to decide the championship. It's really simple. Whoever wins the head-to-head matchup between Derrick Poundstone and Marius Pujanowski will be the 2008 World's Strongest Man.
Todd, this is what these guys live for. There are no outside influences. It's strictly their performance that'll decide it.
I'm sure there's some mind games going on there, but before we get to our headliners, we have another matter to settle. Third place is up for grabs between two Americans, Dave Oslon and Phil Pfister. Now, these two men come into the Atlas Stones tied for third place. It's a big moment for Dave Oslon. Finishing on the podium would be a major accomplishment. And for Phil Pfister, he said this is most likely his last straw at the World's Strongest Man.
Todd, both Dave and Phil are amongst the best in the world of the Atlas Stones. This is going to be a shootout.
Only the final two pairs remain in the Atlas Stones. Norway's Errol Haugen is the current leader with a time of 19.85 seconds, but these scores have no effect on the battles for first and third. The Stones will decide those. So it's Pfister on the left, Oslon on the right. Both men, as you said, Kaz, very proficient at the Atlas Stones.
Built perfectly for the Stones, Todd. 6'6" and 6'7", long arms.
See how they're moving a little cautious. We have had some rain out there, so they're making sure they plant their feet well. And this is the last stone for both men, 400 pounds. Oslon gets it. Dave Oslon will claim third place. Phil Pfister will have to settle for fourth in a tremendous performance by the two Americans. Dave Oslon, 5 stones in 22.70 seconds. That puts him currently in second place, but more importantly, it puts him on the podium. Well, Phil Pfister's slight bobble on the fourth stone gave Dave Oslon a window of opportunity, and he took it. So now it's time to decide the champion for 2008. Derrick Poundstone and Marius Pujanowski each know if they win this one-on-one confrontation, they will win the title. Poundstone, the rookie from Connecticut, comes into the final event as the overall leader, but he'll need to stare down that man who many consider the best strongman of all time, Marius Pujanowski of Poland. Let's flash back to 2006, the last time Marius was in a similar situation. It didn't go so well. The Polish champion led to the fifth and final stone, but was helpless when Phil Pfister made a remarkable charge to steal the title. That's got to be something on his mind here.
Todd, I don't think there's ever been a moment in World's Strongest Man history more dramatic than this.
So it comes down to the final pairing in the final event. Marius Pujanowski on the left, Derrick Poundstone on the right. The rain has begun to fall once again, Kaz, but they are not letting that stop them.
Their focus is only on the stones.
Dead even at 4 stones at 350 pounds. Now to the fifth and final stone. Who will it be? It's Pujanowski winning the title yet again.
Derrick Powell, your champion, Marius Pujanowski. Pujanowski is the
And both men congratulate one another, but there is your champion. For 5 times we have said it, we'll say it again. Marius Pujanowski is the metrics world's strongest man. It was there to be won by Derrick Poundstone, but the 5th stone just wouldn't cooperate. And Marius Pujanowski was happy to take advantage. The final results in the Atlas Stones look like this. Errol Haugen of Norway gets the victory, followed by Dave Oslon. Marius Pujanowski's 3rd place finish gives him the title. Then it's Ortmeyer, Sebastian Venta, Mitt Pfister, Hollands, Poundstone in 9th, and Jason Bergman. So once again, it's Marius Pujanowski on top, followed by Derrick Poundstone and Dave Oslon. In what could be his final performance, Phil Pfister finishes in 4th. Then it's Travis Ortmeyer, Sebastian Venta, Tarmo Mitt, Errol Haugen, Jason Bergman in 9th, and Terry Hollins in 10th. Right now, let's send it to my partner, Bill Kazmaier, for the presentation of the Metrics Trophy.
Marius, on behalf of Metrics and the entire World's Strongest Man family, congratulations on your 5th championship.
Once again, Marius Pujanowski makes history. He's now the greatest champion in strength athletics. That'll do it for the Metrics World's Strongest Man. For my colleague Bill Kazmaier, I'm Todd Harris saying so long from West Virginia and the capital city of Charleston.